And realize, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for coming today to the Water and Sewer Utility Committee meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and any declarations of conflict of interest?
None.
None? Okay, we'll move on to the next. Approval of agenda, please.
Looks great.
Do we have a seconder? Julie?
Yeah.
Thank you. And adoption of minutes of Wednesday, April 28th.
Moved.
And second, moved by Mayor, and second by Councilor McKay. Any business arising from the minutes?
Yes, sir, under fiber optic review.
Okay?
Now, is that under closed?
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's closed, so we'll have to wait for the closed session. Are we going into closed session then? I don't think so.
There's nothing on the agenda, Your Worship. So when it goes to the closed session next time, we can bring it up, Your Worship.
I'll leave it the next time.
You sure?
Yeah. It's just I wanted to have him come back in maybe on a quarterly basis.
Yes.
Find out where he's at.
How's that going? Richard, going well?
Yes, pretty good.
Okay.
With any luck, you'll be done within the quarter.
Ah, very good, very good. Okay, so that's the only
That's it.
business arising from the minutes?
Moved.
Okay. And we'll go into new business. Start with the asset management pilot project.
Yes, so there's an organization, CAN Forecast, that is looking for 9 municipalities across Canada to participate in a pilot project with them that will help municipalities with their asset management with respect to water and sewer infrastructure. I had a preliminary meeting with them, and they've asked us if we would be interested in participating. They have already worked with some larger municipalities, including Halifax, and what they do is they look at information that has been collected and help to predict where we may have problems within our infrastructure and then target those areas. They were impressed with some of the work that we've already done. You might remember that we've already done heat maps with respect to our infrastructure, looking at where we do have more main breaks, and those are the areas that we target for our infrastructure renewal. And they're also able to pull from other municipalities by looking at all the data across different municipalities, help us to target which of our pipes should be addressed first in our asset management plan. So they anticipate the cost to be $50,000 for each municipality, but they're seeking FCM funding for the project, and our cost would be $5,000, and the FCM funding would cover $45,000.
That's a pretty good deal. That way you can project things down the road. Is that
Yes.
the idea?
Yep, it'll help us to target which areas of the city we should be renewing first.
Perfect. Any questions?
Looks good, sir.
Committee?
No brainer.
Councilor Twill? Questions, concerns? No? Nothing? Okay,
So if we can just have a motion to support that project, Mr. Chairman?
okay. Anybody like to?
I'll move that.
Councilor McCabe would like to move it. Any seconder? Mayor Brown? Perfect. Move that.
Sir.
All right. That's great. That's a great idea. You ready to go to the East Royalty Lagoon?
Yes. So East Royalty Lagoon, originally when we were looking at the decommissioning of East Royalty Lagoon, it was anticipated that the cost to fill it in to make it more useful for Parks and Rec would be about $1 million. Because of the road construction that's taking place on St. Peter's Road, there's an opportunity for us to infill that project at this time at a much lower cost, probably about $200,000 versus the $1 million that we feared and was a lot and not really in our budget. So I am coming to the committee seeking permission to move forward with actually finishing that site off so it'll be more useful for parks in the future. And it is a good opportunity for us. We're getting fill at a very good rate because of the proximity of the work. And it's the same contractor who's doing that road work as who would do the work at the East Royalty Lagoon facility. During our budget discussions, we had talked about this, and we did set aside $500,000 for this year's work. And the budget forecast with the work that we still need to do at the site and this additional fill, we'd still come within that $500,000 that we have budgeted for the project. So it really sets it up so that parks can make better use of the project or the property. And it is, as I said, a significant cost savings over what we had originally thought it would cost to develop that site.
Okay.
Just
Councilor
clarifying, so we don't need any more money, it's already in there because we're gonna be able to do basically everything.
Yeah, so we already budgeted for it, we discussed it during our capital budgeting process, and the funds are available within the existing
And
budget.
it's 200,000 instead of a million.
Yes.
Any questions, Councilor Field?
I move it.
I second it.
Any more?
Richard, what about Parks and Recreation? Are they not also, did we not put some money in Parks and Recreation to also?
For planning process and kind of developing, there is some money there for them to look at perhaps moving it forward this year, if we can get it to a point where they can do some of their development with
Plus,
it.
they're also working on the old landfill too, Your Worship, so they're building that into their strategy as well.
Yeah, that old landfill is full of a lot of bad chemicals.
This is just for
To cap it off.
This is just, you're
Yeah,
covered.
it's 83 acres of capping off too. Do you remember talking about it there, Mr. Chair, at Parks and Recreation?
Yeah, we were,
Forget what
Short
amount we
discussion.
put in, but it'll be on top of what we're doing for water and sewer.
yeah, we were just gonna initially do so much of the lagoon this year, have it on grade or whatever, but now we have an opportunity. So what happens there? Just the person that's doing the road can,
So it's the same, as Island Coastal has the contract with us to do the work at the lagoon. They also have the contract to do the work at the road.
okay. Okay,
Sounds good?
okay, we good with that?
So what I'll need to do, I'll need to bring forward a resolution at council to have approval to increase the value of the project with Island Coastal that we awarded to them last year to do the work at the lagoon. So you'll see that at the next city council meeting. Maybe not the next one, because there's one
There's one
Monday,
on
but the next regular
There's
council.
one on Monday. If it's ready to go,
Okay.
there is, that quick could go on the agenda for Monday night.
Okay, I could prepare it tomorrow then and get it onto the agenda?
Is that okay with you, Mr. Chair?
Well, yeah, it's just, does this have to go tender or anything like that?
Yeah, that's it.
So the tender was already awarded to the contractor. This is authorizing us to issue a change order to increase the value of the contract to do the work.
Because he's offering us a discount in the material that they're putting in, Mr. Chair, so the cost here are substantially less, so it's a sole source based upon the pricing that they're offering to the city.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chair, so the tender was for what in capital? Did you say earlier 200,000?
The increase in the
What
value,
was the original tender for? What did ICS get it for?
the $887,000 or $884,700.
So the 847,000 is going to go down to 500.
No, this is to increase the value of the contract. That was the value to get rid of the sludge and do some grading at the site, but now we're looking at bringing it up to grade and finishing the site, so it will be much more useful to Parks and Rec.
So 870 goes to 1.3 million?
Yes.
Oh,
And that's in the budget for this year, correct?
Yes, yep, so in the budget for this year, we have 500,000 to cover this additional fill, because we contemplated this with knowing that the road work would take place, and the work that is still left to do at the lagoon.
So the funds have been approved in this
So-
year's capital workshop.
you wouldn't tender it out because he has to get rid of that fill anyways, right? That's why you're getting it cheap, because otherwise he would have to transport it out to New Haven
Yep.
or his site off the May Point roundabout.
You're right, or find someone else who wants fill, and then they sell the fill to them. But yes,
Right.
it is good for the city and good for the contractor.
So if we had to go pay the full cost per, how much differential, 4 times, 5 times?
Yep,
2
but
times?
five times. Our original estimate to fill the lagoon was $1 million when we were doing preliminary
Now it's
review. of this work.
1.3 million.
No.
Well, no, you're
No,
at
this-
500.
No, that work was to get rid of the
All the sludge,
sludge, manage the site.
Yeah.
The work to then fill it in and bring it up to grade, that was $1 million on top of all that other work.
But you didn't budget for this year. You budgeted $500,000.
For this year.
To start.
Yep, because we anticipated getting or having an opportunity. We knew the road work was coming, and I'd already talked to the province about that ability.
And so the 200,000 cost that comes out of this year's budget, which that council already approved.
Yeah, so you're clear with that, Mr. Chair? You know it's just a change order, a
Yes.
significant change.
A large one, yeah.
But based upon the 80% discount, that is why it's here for going to council for approval.
That's a little more than a 20% change order.
Yeah. And Richard, would you know how much fill how many truckloads, how many tons will be going in?
Yeah, hundreds,
100 or hundreds
hundreds.
of shale, and this is not virgin soil, this is soil that's taken from a road bed that they're gonna redo.
Yes.
Instead of shipping it away, we're gonna take it and dump it into that
Yes,
pit.
yeah, filled.
Good to go, Mr. Chair?
I think so. You, Councilor Twill?
I move the motion.
Question?
All in favor?
Questions?
Yeah.
Unanimous, 3.
Long as there's no issue though with the tendering, right?
It's just a change
Based
order.
upon that,
No, just
the
one.
offering of this material at a discounted price,
Yeah.
that's why it's here
Okay.
and prepared to go for
Well,
sole
then it's
source
no
because of that
brainer.
situation.
Yeah.
We can't say discount, we can say that it's not going to tender.
This is a
because-
discounted price version.
Yeah. Tender would maybe show something
They would
smaller.
not, they would deal with that price version,
Okay,
unless it was free.
That would have been good.
I tried.
We give it a place where it
Yeah.
can go. That'd be good. Since we're all friends here, Richard. Okay, we're good with that. That passed. Now we'll go into the new meeting time, will we?
So City Hall hours have just changed this week. So I think, and we are now having this meeting today at 4, although Councillor Bernard did advise that he might not be able to get here until about 1:15. We'll see when he comes. But there's, City Hall's hours have changed, so it's, and also maybe situations have changed for councillors, or you want to have meetings at a different time during the summer. I'm not sure. It's really up to you guys when you would like to have your meeting.
You have any ideas? Richard? Councilor?
At 12 o'clock.
Any, you can't.
I can do 12 for June, July, and August for sure, but it's when I go back to school, and I mean, we can try and see.
it's too tough.
It's rushy. I mean, we've been lucky with this meeting, it wasn't very long, but there's sometimes when we are. And I could try and call in, it's just, I don't know how.
So do you want to try June, July, and August during noon, Mr. Chair?
Yeah, we could try that for
Good idea.
the noon time for this summer, and then it's open to change and follow.
Does Councillor Bernard typically do the other noontime meetings?
I think
He
so.
can.
I
He
think
does.
so, yeah.
Yeah, he does Parks and Rec at noon, right?
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes he calls in, and, other things that we're on.
Sounds good.
If that's
So-
okay for June, July, and August, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, Pauline will put out a notice.
Great. Do we stay on Wednesdays, or is that
We'll need to review when the other committees meet to see when we can fit it.
Wednesdays or Thursday?
Okay, we'll try for a Wednesday or Thursday, those are good days.
That'd be good. Good with you, Joe?
That's fine.
Mitchell? Mayor?
Good.
Anything else we'd like to discuss at this time?
Just, Mr. Chair, just going to that meeting tonight for the Winter River Watershed annual meeting.
Yes, sir.
They do have recommendations that they submitted to the Water Act hearings back in 2015. And some of the short-term recommendations: reduce the city of Charlottetown's water extraction to a more sustainable level at Brackett and Union pumping stations, restore sufficient environmental flow rates in all the streams of Winter River, involve watershed groups in the permitting process for high-capacity wells, and enforce existing permits and regulations and give heavy fines for infractions. And the long term is to analyze the connectivity of groundwater reservoirs in adjacent watersheds when considering placements of high-capacity wells. And do not allow high-capacity wells near river headwaters. Like, I know they're a very diligent group, the Winter River Watershed Group, but Richard, it appears that, we're at what, our levels are at 1995 levels.
Yes,
water extraction, you know. At some point in time, I think we're just gonna have to look at our neighbors in Stratford and Cornwall and see if we can work with them.
So we've already had the conversation with Cornwall and Stratford. Right now, the bridge supposedly cannot hold the weight of Stratford's water coming over.
What about Cornwall?
Cornwall is open, and that bridge wouldn't be able to do that, so they are looking at those ideas, putting the other well field in.
Yeah. Just something to think about in the future, Mr. Chair. It's just, you know, I know we're a big supporter of the Winter River Watershed group, but everything we do is, it's being, you know, we're taking too much. We do have water meters in place, and you have to give lots of credit to the residents of Charlottetown for conserving water use, because our levels are at what it was in 1995, and our population now is up to 40,000. So we have more users, but we're using the same using the same water that we did in 1995.
Yeah. Any questions?
So I just wanted to add that.
Councilor Freeland? Do it.
You're gonna clarify that tonight when you're at the meeting.
Gonna be asking questions. Do you want me to ask any for you, Richard?
Phew.
I know.
I mean,
Anything else?
we're in an open session, but
Anything
even
else?
at my last meeting with them, they asked about 2 months where we had higher consumption than
Yeah.
our last year, instead of pointing to the 10 months where we had lower consumption than the previous year.
There. Okay.
So we're doing our best anyway.
We are doing way beyond our best. And again, thanks to the residents of Charlottetown for conserving water and being very cognizant of the fact that we just can't waste it like we did in the past.
Well, I know it's a mindset that a lot of people are doing, and the advertisements that we have around the city certainly help to, you know, support that. We have lots of signs up and stuff, so.
And our manager and the staff are doing a great job.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. You hear that, Richard? You're busy reading.
Oh, I heard.
He's trying to.
Thank you very much.
Anything else you'd like to add, Councilor Troy?
No.
Nothing.
Move to adjourn.
Anything else, David?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Move to adjourn. Great.
Thank you.